Once upon a time, in a peaceful village surrounded by lush green forests and majestic mountains, there lived a man named Ravi. Ravi was a simple man with a hard-working spirit, but despite his efforts, life seemed to constantly throw challenges his way. He had a small farm that barely produced enough for his family, and he struggled with debts that seemed to multiply every season. He would wake up each day with a heavy heart, wondering what fate had in store for him next. He would often sit alone under the shade of a tree and curse his misfortune. "What kind of life is this?" he would mutter to himself. "Everywhere I go, trouble follows me. No matter how hard I work, it never seems enough. Other people live happily, and I am just stuck in a cycle of sorrow." He envied his neighbors who seemed to have everything. They had prosperous farms, healthy animals, and happy families. Ravi couldn't understand why life was so cruel to him. His wife, Priya, would often try to comfort him, but he couldn't help feeling lost and hopeless. He felt that he was destined for failure. One afternoon, as Ravi sat under the tree, his mind consumed with self-pity, he noticed a majestic eagle soaring in the sky. It glided effortlessly through the clouds, its wings spread wide, catching the wind as it soared above the world. Ravi watched in awe as the eagle flew higher and higher, disappearing into the vast blue sky. Ravi stared at the eagle for a long time, his heart filled with longing. He wished he could be that eagle, free from all the worries and troubles of human life. The eagle didn't have to worry about debts, work, or responsibilities. It could fly wherever it wanted, hunt for food, and live a carefree life. "I wish I could be that eagle," Ravi thought aloud. "If I were an eagle, I wouldn't have to worry about anything. I would be free, flying through the skies, enjoying life without any burdens." As if in response to his thoughts, the sky suddenly darkened, and a deep voice echoed from above. "Ravi, have you truly thought about what you desire? You wish to become an eagle, to escape from your struggles. But is that what you truly want?" Ravi jumped in surprise. He looked around, but there was no one to be seen. The voice seemed to come from the heavens themselves. He thought he was imagining things, but the voice continued. "Think carefully, Ravi. If you want to become an eagle, we can grant your wish. But once you leave behind your human life, you will never be able to return. Are you sure this is what you want?" Ravi hesitated for a moment. He thought about the hardships he faced every day, the never-ending cycle of work and worry. The idea of being free, like the eagle, filled him with excitement. Without another thought, he shouted into the sky, "Yes, I want to become an eagle. I am tired of my life. I want to fly freely and live without worries. Make me an eagle." The voice from the sky responded, "So be it. Your wish is granted." In an instant, Ravi's body began to change. His arms transformed into powerful wings, his legs into strong talons, and his senses sharpened. He was no longer a man, but a magnificent eagle. He felt a rush of freedom like never before. The wind beneath his wings lifted him up into the sky, and he soared higher than he had ever imagined. His heart swelled with joy as he flew over the land, looking down at the village below. For the first time in a long while, Ravi felt alive. He flew through the open sky, feeling the cool wind on his feathers, and for hours, he did not think about anything except the beauty of the world around him. He soared over mountains, rivers, and forests, feeling a deep sense of peace. As the sun began to set, Ravi realized that he needed a place to rest for the night. He looked around and spotted a tall tree with a sturdy branch that would make a perfect place for him to settle. He gathered twigs and branches with his powerful talons and built a cozy nest where he could sleep. As he rested, he felt content, knowing that tomorrow would bring more freedom and more adventures in the sky. The next morning, Ravi set out to hunt. His sharp eyes scanned the earth below as he soared high above the ground. His keen vision soon spotted a rabbit, and he swooped down to catch it in his talons. It was effortless, and for a moment, Ravi felt triumphant. He devoured the rabbit, savoring the taste of fresh meat. For the first time, he didn't have to worry about where his next meal would come from. Days turned into weeks, and Ravi's life as an eagle was everything he had hoped for. He flew freely, hunted when he was hungry, and spent his days exploring the skies. He was no longer burdened by the struggles of his human life. But soon, he began to notice something that troubled him. Despite the freedom and joy he experienced, Ravi realized that his life was not as perfect as he had imagined. He flew over the vast forests, but he began to notice the scarcity of prey. The forests were becoming quieter, and the animals seemed to be few and far between. At first, Ravi thought it was just a passing phase, but as days passed, his hunger began to grow. One afternoon, Ravi flew across a large forest, hoping to find something to eat. But no matter how hard he searched, he couldn't find any prey. His stomach growled with hunger, and he began to feel weak. He flew higher, hoping to spot something from above, but there was nothing. As the sun began to set, Ravi returned to his nest, exhausted and hungry. The following days were the same. Ravi searched endlessly for food, but the forests were barren. His strength began to wane as he flew further and further, only to return empty-handed. The sense of freedom he had once cherished began to feel like a burden. He was no longer a carefree creature soaring through the sky. He was now a hungry, desperate bird with no way of getting food. One day, while flying low over the trees, Ravi spotted an injured bird. It was a small sparrow, its wings broken, and its movements slow. Ravi, too weak to be picky, swooped down and captured the bird. He ate it, but the meal barely satisfied his hunger. He felt guilty for taking advantage of a weak creature, but at that moment, it was the only option available to him. Days passed, and Ravi's situation grew worse. His once powerful wings felt heavy, and his talons ached with hunger. He could no longer fly as gracefully as he once had, and the crows, sensing his weakness, began to harass him. They would swoop down from the trees, pecking at his wounded talons and mocking him as he tried to escape. Ravi was too tired to fight back. The crows would follow him, pecking at him until he could no longer fly away. Ravi began to feel a deep sense of regret. He missed his old life. As much as he had wanted to escape his struggles, he now realized that the life of an eagle, while free in many ways, was not without its own challenges. He longed for the days when he had a home, a family, and a purpose. He missed the days when he could wake up with a plan, even if it didn't always work out, rather than the endless uncertainty of being a bird with no place to call home. One day, in his weakest state yet, Ravi flew toward a human village. He had heard the sounds of people from a distance, and the idea of human company, of being seen and heard again, gave him some hope. He landed on the roof of a small hospital, watching as patients passed by. He wished he could speak to them, to ask for help, to tell them of his struggles. But as an eagle, he had no voice. He was nothing more than a voiceless bird, trapped in a body that no longer served him well. And so, Ravi sat there, watching the world around him. His body grew weaker with each passing hour. His wings no longer held the strength they once did, and his heart felt heavy with regret. He had once wished for freedom, but now he realized that true freedom was not about escaping one's problems. It was about finding strength and resilience in the face of adversity. As the day faded into night, Ravi closed his eyes for the last time. He died on the roof of that hospital, a once proud eagle, now a reminder of the dangers of desiring something without truly understanding it. Ravi's story became a legend in the village. People would often speak of the man who had been so consumed by his struggles that he wished to become something else, only to find that even the life of an eagle came with its own hardships. His story taught them an important lesson, that happiness and peace don't come from escaping our problems, but from facing them with courage and perseverance. And so, Ravi's life, though filled with struggle, left a lasting legacy. The villagers learned to appreciate what they had, and to face their challenges with strength, just as Ravi had learned too late.